Welcome back. The future of HCMC will be determined this legislative session. That's according to Hennepin County Commissioner and Hospital Board Chair Jeffrey Lundy. With nearly $2 billion in federal cuts to Medicaid reimbursements over the next decade, HCMC is in hot water, already cutting 5 programs, 100 employees, and 100 beds. Lundy says in the next week or so, a bill will likely be introduced to address what he calls a, quote, financial storm brewing around health care.
At the end of this session, if we don't find some way to find alternate revenue, we will have to start a different conversation about how to close a hospital. And we absolutely believe that would be horrible for the whole state and also for our communities.
Union leaders say there's a higher workload and uncertainty as workers are taking the brunt of the cuts. Negotiations have stalled during a time that's difficult to ask for more money. Many are worried their jobs will be eliminated. Right now, there's a unique effort happening to get state lawmakers from across the aisle to talk to each other. Over at Sweeney's Saloon, just a few miles from the state capitol, they offer a daily lunch special. It changes every day, and it's usually $9.99. But the owner has decided to offer that special to politicians for free, but only if they bring a friend from the opposite political party. Gordon Severson has more.
People come together at bars and restaurants to connect and share ideas.
Tell me about this special that you're running.
Will Rolfe, who owns Sweeney's Saloon, had his own idea.
It's a long-time thing, the Sweeney's Poor Man Special.
To offer their daily lunch special and a beer to state lawmakers for free. But the catch is lawmakers must bring a colleague from the opposing party.
If they don't cooperate, nothing's going to get done.
What did your employees think about this idea when you first told them about it?
Well, I think they were a little skeptical, like, what the heck are you doing?
Rolfe sent an email to every lawmaker at the state capitol, and 2 representatives, Republican Bjorn Olson and Democrat Brad Tabke, showed up for the free meal.
I was here, which was kind of lucky, and I got to sit and talk with them, and it was amazing. They're both really bright, really well informed, and they were super friendly, even though they're like fairly far apart on a lot of the issues.
It is a really good thing for people to see.
Tabke says he and Olson already have a great working relationship, and he wanted others outside of the state capitol to see that Republicans and Democrats can get along.
Not everybody has to agree on everything. It's okay not to agree and still be people who work together and get along and can still have fun.
And many others agree. When Rolfe posted the picture on the restaurant's social media page, it quickly became their most popular post ever.
It got like 1,600 likes, which is more than any other post we've ever done.
They think it's kind of a refreshing take, and they want to see more of that. That's kind of the message that I've seen from a lot of people posting.
Yeah, I think we got 100 positive comments and maybe 2 negative.
That's pretty good online.
I think so.
And hey, if this works, perhaps he can expand his idea to other people who don't get along.
Vikings, Packer fans, if you come in together.
I think there's too much possibility of violence with Vikings Packers, but I would consider trying that.
The owner of the restaurant says he'll continue this special until the end of the session, and he's heard from a few lawmakers who are interested in taking him up on the offer. The Minnesota legislature has been in session for almost a month now. This past week, lawmakers found themselves deadlocked on some issues, but broke through with bipartisan agreements on several bills. Here's political reporter Danny Spiewak with a recap and a look ahead to what's coming up.
The most significant development at the state capitol this past week came from Governor Walz, who had a major proposal to overhaul the way the state's human services system works. He's basically proposing to cut out the private insurers that handle Medicaid cases for most people in Minnesota that need that basic care and have the State Department of Human Services do it. The governor has pitched it as a way to prevent fraud.
If the state needs to be responsible for taxpayer dollars, we need to have it centralized where we can take that accountability.
But the governor's proposal needs legislative approval, and in the tied House, that is a tough ask. While DFL leadership is supportive of the overhaul, Republican leaders are not and say the proposal is dead on arrival. But we did see an interesting display of bipartisanship in the state Senate this week, where one of the progressive DFL senators, Aaron May Quaid, worked with one of the more conservative Republican senators, Eric Lucero, on AI bills regulating AI and that industry that, of course, is emerging across the United States and in Minnesota. Listen to what they had to say about their goals around a lot of this legislation.
The bills I'm presenting today, they're not going to stop technological advancement. They're going to make sure that AI doesn't traumatize more people, push more to self-harm, or violate our constitutional liberties.
Whenever you have a Lucero-Mayquade bill hearing or a series of bills, it definitely raises eyebrows. But the reality is technology is innovating at a pace much faster than government can keep up.
We also saw a show of bipartisanship around a unanimous vote in the House passing a bill that renames the state's community solar garden program after the late Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman.
Members, renaming Minnesota's community solar garden program in her memory honors not just Speaker Hortman and everyone who knew her, but honors a cause that she championed.
It is fitting today that we are recognizing this incredible legacy by renaming one of her proudest legislative accomplishments in her honor. Shine bright, Speaker Hortman.
Coming up this week in committee, there are more AI regulation bills, more gun violence bills from the DFL in the Senate, and another proposal in a House committee that would rename a state park after the late Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. At the Capitol, I'm Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
Stick with us. More news and weather's coming up after the break.